Welcome, everybody, to Thursday's edition of Inside Franklin Athletics. I am your host, Brian Powers.
And I'm your co-host, Chaz Hill, reporting live from quarantine day 6. Is that right?
65.
Oh, 65. Oh, wow. The days run together so fast.
Yeah. And with us today, we're really kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here for guests, so we'll pick that up later. But we have the second born and second favorite child of Randy and Elaine Powers, Franklin Community High School cross country state champion, Central Michigan cross country runner, and Division I All-American track athlete, Jeffrey Powers.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on here.
How's it going, Jeff?
It's fantastic.
Have you called mom and dad?
Today, no.
Darn.
They're living in quarantine too. So you just seem really excited to be here. I'm glad for your attitude. Let's kind of bring it up a little bit.
A lot of energy. A lot of energy today.
First of all, let's just start. How are you handling quarantine 2020?
It's been tough. I mean, Kelly, my wife's been gone for, what day is today?
Thursday.
I was about to ask, are you losing track of days?
She's been gone for 3 hours now. So it's been rough. But yeah, the boys, I got one kid napping and one kid doing God knows what in the other room. So
that'll be fine. They'll be fine.
He's self-sustaining. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's 4. Is he 4?
Yep, he's 4.
Nice job, Uncle Brian. Yeah.
Uncle of the year.
In the other room too.
So, all right. So you are an English teacher. Teach 10th grade English at Franklin Community High School. But rewinding way back, you've obviously had a good career as far as running goes. Why don't you just talk to us about your high school career, kind of how you got started in running and everything?
I feel like this is kind of a shameless self-plug for you of how
I know. As I was asking, I was like, this is going to be like, tell everybody how much I pushed you and how great it was.
All right. Yeah. So I ran a long time ago back in, well, we'll just leave it at that, at Franklin. And I got into running. I ran in middle school mostly because Brian ran. And so I just wanted to prove to everybody that I was so much faster than him. And I did. And so then when I ran in high school, I don't know. What else do you want me to say about it? I mean, that was really it. Like, as long as I was faster than Brian, that was really the only goal.
The only motivator.
Yeah. After everything else was just bonus from there.
So you played growing up. You played a lot of sports. When was it something where you were like, okay, I need to just focus on running?
Yeah, I played a lot of sports, and I always loved sports. But I think what I really liked about running was that it was more on like the individual. Like there's the team aspects of cross country and stuff, but the cool thing about it was like I was kind of in control of how my race was going to go. There's the team aspect too, but so much more of an individual sport there. And so I really like that. And I mean, I had a lot of success kind of early on, even in like 6th grade with running. So I think I really like that. And then I think I also like that even if I didn't win the race, I could still be happy because I could still have like a really good race. Because it's kind of you versus the clock a lot of times.
When was the point where you were like, okay, I'm actually not just like, oh, you're a good runner. It's like, oh, I'm actually a really legit runner and I have a chance to do things with this.
I don't know. I mean, I think it just depends on what, when I was in 8th grade, so our team in 8th grade won the county meet, which like nobody had ever beaten Center Grove. And so that was pretty big. And I won the county championship and that was pretty big. But then the next year when I was getting ready to start high school, our coach, Doug Drent, he sat us down, the freshmen down, and was like, what are your goals? And me and two of my teammates, Ryan and Colin, who are also really good runners, we just kind of said, we want to go to the state meet. We want to go to the state meet like the other teams have done. And he immediately said, nope, that's not good enough. And we didn't know what to say after that, because that was kind of the pinnacle. But he kind of told us, no, you're going to be state champions. And I guess at that point we were kind of like, yeah, well, I guess we are. So it was kind of 4 years of that.
Yeah, that's now that county meet, the 8th grade county meet. Was there anything specific that happened after that meet that you would like to share, Center Grove wise?
Are we talking track or cross country?
Cross country.
No comment.
Come on.
I don't really remember this, so I don't know how much this is true. I mean, I'm not.
Just tell it. It's true. Just say it. Just say it like it is.
There was something about them yelling at us as they drove by on their bus or something, and then I think I just held my blue ribbon up to the window. Maybe
that's what
allegedly.
Now let's talk about. Actually, before we move on, we have breaking news here.
I got some as well.
You want you break it?
Literally, like a news anchor, I was just handed a note from off screen that says all Indiana schools are closed until May 1st. No iLearn from the governor.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if Indiana schools being closed means that just the buildings are closed, like Dr. Clendenning said, or if it means that like no learning is supposed to happen.
I'm assuming it'd just be the buildings.
That's what I would think too.
Yeah, that they're still gonna learn. Chaz, you got to clear up the background there. You guys,
I can't control. I can't control what's going on. It's a madhouse. People are getting ready to go to work and things. Losers. My girlfriend works at a nursing home, so that's fun.
Why is she with you? Is she not listening to the social distancing?
I've tried to hold up the meter stick to try to keep her away from me, but it's just not working. It's just not working. I'll have to start hitting her with it at very soon points. That's everything to stay safe.
Okay, so looks like we better start lining up more guests.
We're gonna have to fill so much.
Yep,
so many days.
We want to make this like a 3-parter where we can just focus on one section and then keep it just.
Yeah, I can do a whole episode where I just talk about childhood stories of Brian.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
That sounds not good.
Perfect.
Hey, so your 8th grade year at track. Tell us about that. Was that a good season for you? How did that end well?
It was a good season until like my last 2 races. I think I was actually undefeated until my last 2 races, but then I got beat. In my last race, I got beat just horribly. I just ran stupid. And I just remember I was very, very upset afterwards. So I will say though, I did get at that time I was kind of on the fence of if I was going to play soccer or run cross country in high school. And more so leaning towards cross country, but still kind of something in my mind. And I got some advice that day that I will say was pretty good. Brian took me aside and said, hey, you're going to run cross country next year and you're going to beat all of these guys. You're going to be a great runner. So,
wow.
He was right.
I don't remember that. That doesn't seem like something I would say.
So what I'm getting at is that Brian wanted you on this podcast just to shamelessly plug how good of an older brother he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is great. If it starts going off the rails, I'm cutting it off. We are done with it. If he starts saying any other stories, I'm getting out. I don't really think there's anything negative he could say about me. Any stories he could tell that would be bad in any kind of way.
Yeah, no.
So your last 2 races, your 8th grade year, you got beat.
Yep.
That's it. That's the comment. So what did you do with those ribbons?
That's right. I kept those 2 red ribbons and I put them right next to my bed.
So how long did they stay there?
I think through high school.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So to you, like,
That was a bit obsessive.
What did that symbolize to you?
Getting beat, man. Losing.
And that drove you, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I do not like to lose.
So it's funny because Jeff's pretty laid back to a lot of people. He's kind of low key uptight, I will say.
I disagree with that.
A little bit low key uptight, but
You're the one wearing a suit and tie.
Hey, who knows what I'm going to be wearing at the end of April? You're going to be lucky if I show up wearing anything by that point.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
So there's just this. People are always like, "Oh, he's super laid back and chill," and it's like, no, that dude. There's like this fire inside that that a lot of people don't really see. That really scarred my childhood, I would say.
A lot of it is your fault.
Yeah, so he played with me and my friends a lot. So we would always play. We had a basketball goal in our backyard, and it was adjustable, and we were kind of like the center point of all of our friends, like where our friends lived. And
we had a basketball goal.
Yeah, we were the only ones that had a basketball goal too.
It's a big deal in Indiana. It's a big deal.
And so, and then we lived right down the street from the park. It's what is it now? Is it Jack Morgan still?
Yeah.
Okay, but it was a more open field, so we could go down there and play baseball, football, and stuff. And so we'd always go there, and he'd always come and play with us. Well, we were 4 years older, so if I was like 13 or 14, he was 10, 9, 10, something like that. And I mean, it was just game on. Like we just sometimes would tee off on him.
No easy buckets.
So it's kind of a joke because there were so many games that were even teams, but got screwed up because Jeff would get mad and say, "I'm running home," and go home. So you went home. What did Dad say to you whenever you go home?
It would never be Dad. It was always Mom. So I would, I'd go tell Mom and I'd complain to her. And I remember that she'd say the same thing every time, just being the loving, supportive mother that she was. That's sarcasm, by the way. She is very loving and supportive. But she would say, if you can't play with the big boys, don't play at all. I was like, well, that's stupid. I obviously want to play. I just want you to go down to the park, Mom, and tell them to pass me the ball.
So whenever the teams would get like uneven, we would always know it would just be like 10 minutes until Jeff would come back. And sometimes he'd like come back and he'd just be like sulking. And other times it'd be like a wrestler coming down on Royal Rumble. And it's like his music. Good God, that's Jeff Powers. He's back. Yeah. He just comes running in. I'm ready. Put me back in. I'm like, all right.
As the youngest of three brothers, I really sympathize with Jeff in this situation because I can vividly remember being in that exact same scenario many times.
Oh, we're gonna get a special guest appearance here.
All right.
What do you need?
Where's the big chase?
I don't know, man. Sorry, dude.
So Jeff is we've moved on. You're in high school. So how is it? Tell Anson to shut up. Tell Uncle Brian said shut up.
He's going back upstairs.
Okay. How is it going from, you're an 8th grader and you're good with the competition and everything to high school where you're kind of at the bottom of the barrel again? I mean, are you getting smoked in races or?
Yeah, our team was very down. I got a kid crying here.
Let him cry it out. That's what you told me.
Just edit this part out.
So, while we've got this break, we would like to mention our 2 sponsors. Of course, Benjamin's Coffee Shop. Of course, there for the best coffee on the square. Benjamin's for all your coffee needs. And Hillview Country Club. At this point in time in this day, you are not golfing. But when
you are, you're insane.
When the weather gets nice and we don't have a virus, a worldwide pandemic, go on out to Hillview Country Club, hit the links with our legendary athletic director, Bill Doty, who was on our podcast yesterday, and do that. Hillview and Benjamin's. Once again, thank you for your sponsorship. If you or anyone else you know wants to sponsor our podcast, just send me an email, powersb@franklinschools.org, and say, I want to sponsor your podcast, and we will mention it.
We will say yes, no questions asked.
Yeah. Do we need anything from you? Not really. Has Benjamin given us anything? Nope. Hillview? Nope. We just figured we'd throw them out there. So looking ahead, we have some new guests lined up, but we'll tell you about that later because we've got critical time here. We don't know how long we're going to have Jeff. All right. So your team is young.
Our team is young. So I was one of the top guys still on the team, but we definitely, every race that we went to, I was just getting whooped by every other team. So it was tough, but it was part of the process. And I think when you're just getting beat by guys like that always helps.
So we fast forward, we go to your junior year and you're starting to, go real quick, what freshman and sophomore year kind of times and everything, or kind of end of the year, what happens?
So freshman year, we lose the county meet by 1 point. We lost the conference meet on a tiebreaker. I can't even remember what place we got at sectionals, but not good. And then we qualified for semi-state, which was kind of a big deal for us. We got 15th at semi-state, which was about as expected. I went 1645. Then sophomore year, we were a much better team. We had a goal of making it to state, but we were going to have to run pretty well. And we won county, we won conference, won sectionals, and then did not have a good semi-state race again. So that was freshman and sophomore year.
All right. So junior year, just walk us through your junior year. Give us an overview of your junior year.
Junior year, we really strong team. Our goal again, make the state, and then later in the year we actually adjusted it and said we want to win. We want to win state, and that was kind of lofty, but that was kind of how we were. We always had lofty goals. So we had a really solid team. Won county, conference, sectional. Did not win. No, we didn't win regional, did we? And then.
I was in my junior year of college at that point. The meets were on.
Yeah, we did not win regional, and then at semi-state, so top 5 teams make it out. At that point, top 5 teams made it out, and we were in the Indianapolis semi-state, which is just loaded. And we were, I think we were ranked 10th in the state, but we got 4th at semi-state, so we made it out as a team. And then the next week at state, we came back and got 4th there.
Was that unexpected?
For everybody else.
Nice.
No, we trained all the Bloomington course, which where the state meet was super hilly. And so we trained like that. We trained for a hilly course. We trained for a tough course.
Yeah. All right. So you're in between your junior and senior year. Are you starting to get recruited?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
What schools?
Michigan State, IU, Indiana State, mostly local.
IU, anything cool about their recruitment?
Their head coach never called me. I guess that was cool.
Are you, is there any connection between the head coach and you now?
Yeah, he coached me after college.
Did he ever talk about recruiting you?
He's just the most antisocial person ever, so there's no way he was going to recruit.
Did he say anything about just stopping? Because they stopped recruiting you, didn't they?
Well, so they had their grad assistant do all the recruiting stuff, and then so he would call us on a regular basis, but then all of a sudden he got a job somewhere else, so he stopped. He didn't care.
Now, I'm trying to say, yeah, we went to that IU basketball game.
That was senior year, man.
Oh, God. Okay, fine.
Man, you're terrible. You're awful.
So
That's the only thing he's going to remember. Like he doesn't care about how I did or anything.
I was just trying to get.
Like I said, this whole podcast is just for him.
Really,
it's only for him.
We're bringing Jeff on so I can just talk about myself for a while. So you're how's that like as far as getting recruited? And did you have a school that you're like, I want to go to this school, and just when they call, that's where I'm going to go?
I had, I always wanted to go to the University of Oregon, which is a big distance running school and everything, but that was kind of a far off dream. But besides that, I just wanted somewhere where I could run, and I didn't really know. I wanted to run Division I, but besides that, I didn't really have anything else. Ryan and Colin, the other guys that I ran with, we kind of talked about maybe going to the same school together, but that just didn't work out for us.
Did Oregon ever call you?
Yeah, when I was out, Mom told him I didn't race well because I was sick. You're just trying to get. I feel like you're just trying to get Mom mad at me.
Oh, I love this. It's great. Best podcast we've ever done. This is the most research I've ever done on a podcast because I've been researching it for 35 years.
It's all led to this moment.
Yeah.
This
all right.
one interview.
So we're starting your senior year. Expectations are high?
Yeah, pretty high. We're the top returning team. We're fourth. We were fourth in the state. We returned everybody. But so we were going to return everybody, but then.
And if you had returned everyone.
Oh, it wouldn't even been close.
Oh, yeah.
But
you have gotten under 50 points at the state meet.
It would have been. Yeah.
All things perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But the week of semi-state my junior year, our coach tells us that our guy who was our number 4th runner, and he scored 5, that he was going to be moving away at the end of the year. So put a little bit more pressure on junior year. So he moved away. So senior year, we still did have pressure because we still thought we're still the team to beat to win the state. So, and we had a guy step up who ended up becoming our 5th guy, Jared Campbell. So yeah, we had a lot of pressure, but we were pretty dominant like all year. I mean, we lost a couple of meets. We lost one meet because we sat out a bunch of guys. You remember?
Yeah, that was it Franklin Central, then Southport, right?
Yeah. So the seniors went at Franklin Central, and so we went. We were ranked number 1 in the state, and we go 1, 2, 3 at the race, and then we still got like 2nd or 3rd overall as a team. But then besides that, like with a full squad, we lost at semi-state. We got 2nd at semi-state. But we just had just a very like mediocre race. Colin, who was usually like our he was 1, 2, or 3 guy. I mean, we kind of switched. But he was actually our 4th guy that day. So he was, I think at semi-state, he was like 20 something place-wise. And then the next week at state, he was 8th.
Yeah. And then, so your state meet, you wake up that morning, you guys are, you've been number 1 in the state all season. You finished 2nd in semi-state. You've had a week to kind of stew on getting 2nd in that, on being runner-up, which, hey, runner-up in the 2001 semi-state, that's no big big thing, right? That's a big thing. Because for those of you who don't know, cross country and track they're single class sports, so it's everyone is in there. So what? And you wake up, you're ready to race, right? Feeling good?
Sure. I was kind of sick all week, but it was. I mean, I just had like a little cold all week, but yeah, we were definitely ready to race. I mean, we've been waiting for this day for a year.
Yeah.
So. And
how, like, as far as you go, and I'm not saying this to prod you, how did you race? Like, all things considered.
Oh, I raced pretty bad. I mean, I was their 3rd guy. I think I was 27th or 29th. But at the end of the day, we did what we needed to do. So I was our 3rd guy and got the job done.
When you get that news, like, hey, we won, and it's like just this 4 years of everything we've worked for, what's that feel like?
That's one of the greatest feelings, just getting that kind of information. We found out actually while we were on the cool down by one of the reporters at the Daily Journal told us. So that was cool, really cool, because we were away from everybody else. So we got to like celebrate on our own. And so that was awesome. I mean, these guys were my best friends, and just to do that was amazing. But I will say one of the strangest feelings was after the entire thing, we're on the bus and we're going home, and we're just kind of like sitting there listening to music and just talking. And they're like, we just won a state championship. Shouldn't we be like really just happy and giddy and everything? And we're like, no, I mean, I guess we kind of expected to win, so it's not that big of a deal.
That's kind of actually interesting, because I kind of have that same kind of experience. And I think it's interesting also with, you guys had to figure it out later after the whole thing was over.
Yeah.
I won a state championship in football in high school. And I mean, what's going on because you're playing the game. So if you're going to win or not. And I just think that's interesting how you're in the race and you still don't even know what the result is. I think that comparison's pretty cool, pretty interesting.
Yeah. And you have no idea. Like, I had no idea how everybody else was running. It's tough.
Was there like in your head after you got done running and everything, did you kind of allow yourself to go to a spot where you're like, we may not have won this race and I've been sick? And admittedly, I mean, you would have probably finished top 10 if you would have been healthy. Did you ever go to that place? Did you ever think that? Oh
yeah. I mean, that's always in your head when you're cooling down and everything. And, I don't think none of my teammates would have blamed it on me.
Right.
We would have lost, but that's something. I think that's something. If we would have lost, everybody on the team would have said that. Everybody on the team would have been like, well, if I just would have caught one or two more guys.
Would that have meant anything to you?
No. I probably still hold on to it to this day.
I will tell you, as your brother and one of your top, I'd say I'm in your top 50 biggest fans. That was a thought that did cross your fan club's mind. In that,
so yeah,
that was one of those thoughts. But luckily, it did not. So we move on to track. How did the state meet performance, though, you think affect your recruiting? Do you think it did?
Like my individual performance?
Yeah.
Because I ran a lot faster my junior year, so I was one of the top returners, top senior returners. So yeah, that affected it some. It just kind of made me more, I guess, like hungry for track season.
And then how'd that go?
Track season was awesome. I mean, we were just kind of, it was our last season, so we're like, let's just go for broke on everything. And we kind of had this goal where two people run in the tournament, the state tournament, in each event. But if you run faster than the state standard, like if all three of you, if you have three people on your team run faster than the state standard, then you can qualify three people at sectionals. And so we did that. We all ran faster than the state standard during the year. And then we all three ran the 2 mile. And then Ryan and Colin also ran the mile, which was crazy.
So, and then your coach was leaving too, right?
Yep. He was going back up to Michigan.
So it was just kind of your last hurrah for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is one of the craziest things, I think. In track, it's not necessarily team-wise. It's just people can go and score points. So how was your track team as a whole, like team-wise, for meets and dual meets and everything like that your senior year?
I mean, we were pretty decent. I mean, we didn't win county or sectionals, but I think at regionals we were like 4th or something. But then at the state meet, we had Ryan and Colin were in the mile, and then all three of us were in the 2 mile. And then we had a shot putter too. The shot putter didn't score, but then Ryan got 2nd in the mile. Colin was 5th, I think. And then in the 2 mile, we went 3, 5, 6 or something like that. So we got 3rd as a team. Yeah.
So you didn't win county, but you got 3rd as a team in state.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
All right. So your senior year is drawing to a close. What's the college situation like?
I think by May, I kind of settled down to IU, IUPY, or Central Michigan. And IU, we had already known that if we all go to IU, or if any one of us goes to IU, we're going to be like invited walk-ons. They didn't have any scholarship money. And IUPY was a coach that I really liked. And Central Michigan, I just really got along well with the guys on the team when I went up there for a visit. So I ended up deciding on Central Michigan. I don't think it was until like almost towards the end of the school year.
And so you get up there, you go to Central Michigan, and the team, they were a good team, weren't they?
Yeah, we were. So I was there 5 years. My first year I redshirted completely, but my first 3 years there, we were top 25 in the nation in cross country. First year we were top 10.
Yeah. And then you ran in the national championship meet?
Yeah, in cross country my freshman year.
And have you thawed out from that?
Yeah, that was the coldest race I've ever been in.
Yeah, at least you were racing. I had to freaking run around with the 40 below wind chill and in an open field.
Uh-huh.
So
no, I remember we were on the start line, and like to my left was the University of Michigan, and then to my right was Florida State. And I look over to the guys at Michigan, and they're down in like their shorts and jerseys too. And I look over to the guys at Florida State, and they're in like full tights and like long sleeve shirts. I'm like, oh, those guys are gonna suck today.
They're in a parka. One dude's wearing a parka.
They're not gonna go.
He's got a hot chocolate in his hand.
Bundled up and he can't move his arms.
So, okay, so it looks like Jeff has left us.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. He's back. There we go.
So how was that? How was college, like the college running experience? Kind of take us through just a quick flyover view of your college running experience, because I've got a couple other questions to ask before we get out of here.
All right. College running is awesome. I mean, college athletics are awesome at any level as long as you want to do it. Like if you're committed to actually doing it, it's so much fun. It's a huge time commitment, but it's a blast. I mean, you just get to, I don't know, you get to travel to so many cool places, and you get to hang out with guys who are similar to you, and just do amazing stuff like that all the time.
Now, obviously there are kids, hundreds of thousands of kids are going to watch this, and even more are gonna know about this. But kids all over the place, and people want to go Division I, or they want to play college athletics. One, what would you say to them as far as like the work? And two, just kind of go over what a typical day would have been like for you.
Well, I really believe, everybody, there's a lot of athletes that just think, oh, I have to go Division I. If I'm not going Division I, what's the point? But I think there's an athletic position for everybody. Like if you want to compete in college, there's a place for you to do that. It's like I said, it's huge time commitment, but it's pretty worth it. So like an average day for me, and again, like I was pretty obsessive with it, which I don't think it's like this for everybody. But I'd wake up in the morning and go for like a run or do some type of workout in the morning, and then have my classes, and then practice again in the afternoon. I think we had it at like 2:00, and so that would be practice from like 2:00 to 5 or 5:30, and then eat dinner, maybe study, and then go to bed at 10:00 and do it all over again.
Now, didn't your advisor want to give you a class at like 8 a.m?
Yeah, she did.
How did that conversation go?
Gosh, you're really killing me here, aren't you?
Yep.
I told her that if she gave me a class at 8 a.m, I wouldn't go to it.
And why not? Why wouldn't you go to that? Chaz, we've lost him.
Oh no, we've lost the void.
He's frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back. He's alive.
Okay,
Yeah,
why would you go?
Why wouldn't I go to an 8 o'clock class?
Yeah, 8 a.m.s are great.
You're up running early.
Because I got to run, man. I wasn't going to rush it.
So your classes, what did your classes kind of look like?
Uh,
Like your senior year, for instance.
my senior year, first semester or second semester?
Let's go second semester.
Second semester. I was see if I can remember my schedule. Oh, I had a Monday night class, like Bio 100.
That's
the
one science credit you had to get.
That was my last credit, so it was pretty sweet. Monday nights.
Was that it?
That was it. Monday nights, 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And I missed it 4 times because I had track meets.
All right. So now let's switch it real quick. Chaz, you played at Franklin College.
Correct. Yes.
And Franklin College is a big time Division III football program. What did kind of a day of yours look like?
Well, a day of mine in season.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in season, we worked out probably like in the weight room, I think like 3 times a week. And that kind of depended on your class schedule of when that was. You had to like sign up for a time. So if you had like morning classes, you would have worked out like 3 or 4 or something like that. And if you had more PM classes, then you'd work out at like 6, 7, or 8 or something like that. So you just had to fit it in wherever. So not the whole team was never in the weight room at one time. That's also because the Franklin College weight room is incredibly tiny, incredibly small. But then, so you worked out, went to class, all that stuff. And then practice started at around, I want to say 4, if I remember right. Yeah. Get into the locker room at 3:30, practice at 4. And that was until 6:30 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much it. It was kind of, it was like high school for the most part. Yeah. It felt like high school.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, I think, where a lot of kids want to go and play college athletics until they see there's, you get a 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock workout in high school and you do that a few times a week, but it's, that's pretty much every day in college. Yeah. So it's and just the little extra things that you guys do.
Well, I think the big difference too from high school to college on every level is, now, Chaz, how many times would you have told Coach Leonard, hey, I can't be at practice today because I have whatever, a doctor's appointment or.
Right. The interesting thing about D3 is that they know that you're paying a large amount of money to be there and play the sport.
Uh-huh.
So if you have some kind of class, if it's a class conflict, then they're totally accepting of that. Like if I have to, there were a lot of times where you'd have to go to like a campus event or a speaker or something that you had to go to for a class. And the coaches were like totally understanding with that kind of stuff. But if you went up and said like, hey coach, I have to study for a test. No, you got to figure that out. You got to figure that around. So there was some kind of leeway, but especially since it was a D3 school, but it wasn't for everything. You couldn't just miss whenever you wanted.
Yeah. So Jeff, your senior year, what was the difference between like your freshman and sophomore and junior and senior years for your team?
My junior and senior year, our team kind of fell off. We still had a couple good guys that I could really train with, but we just didn't have. My first couple of years, we had a bunch of guys on the team who were just average to maybe slightly above average runners in high school, but they just worked really hard and really developed through college. But then we didn't quite have that as much later on. So our team wasn't quite as good. So it was a little difficult for me because it was more individual instead of a team aspect there.
And so how were you as far as running wise? Like, were you starting to see the dividends of your hard work and everything? Was it similar to high school where you kind of worked your way up?
Yeah. I started having a lot more success, especially at our, like on our conference meets and stuff, but I wasn't satisfied. I had goals and I don't think I quite measured up to them a lot of times.
So what were some of your goals your senior year?
Be an All-American.
Is that it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Win a conference championship.
Did you do that?
Yeah, once or twice.
Now, how many conference championships did you win?
Individual,
Yeah.
7.
Okay. Now, what about in cross country? How many individual cross country championships did you win?
0.
How was your senior year cross country meet?
Gosh, it was pretty muddy. Pretty muddy. Yeah, so we get to this. Our conference meet was on an island in Buffalo, New York, and it had snowed the entire week.
Oh,
and it rained. So we get there and the place is just completely flooded.
It was awful.
It was awful.
I didn't even run.
It was just like this 2-kilometer loop that you did 4 times, and they had this really big hill, just kind of steep, not long, but it was a really steep hill. And on lap number 4, kind of tore my Achilles a little bit on it.
Ooh, just a little torn Achilles. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, now I'll give you credit here. What place were you in when you got hurt?
I can't even remember. I was just trying to get through that day.
No, when you got hurt, like before.
Maybe 4th.
Oh, well, never mind then.
I don't know. I really don't.
Trying to help you out. Weren't you in first?
Huh?
Were you in first?
Oh no.
So fast forward though, a couple weeks later, the regional meet to advance to the national championships.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there?
I ran decent. It was a 10K. Achilles was feeling better by that point a little bit. Still bothering me, but ran decent and then just couldn't close it out. Missed nationals by about 2.5 seconds.
Ah, man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Now, I wasn't at that meet, so this is kind of what I recall. What place were you in when your Achilles started acting up at that meet?
That one I was in first.
Okay. So you're leading the nationals. Now, leading the nationals and your Achilles kind of goes on.
Regionals.
Yeah. That's regionals. That's right. So you start track. You've got a torn Achilles. Obviously, you take some time off, heal it, get some surgery.
It's a nice D1 rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long after the surgery did you start running again?
I didn't have surgery.
Oh, okay. So you just kept running on a partially torn Achilles.
I think I took like 2 weeks off.
That's enough. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it was just a flat surface in track. So
Yeah.
So how did your senior year in track go?
It was good. I had a good indoor season. Broke a school record in the 3K. But then outdoors, our first meet outdoors, I ran the 10K. So that's 25 laps on a track, which is pretty brutal.
It is. Watch. Terrible.
Yeah. But I ran really well. I went out to Stanford, California, and ran out there in a big meet. And I won it, PR'd, ran a personal best by about a minute, and automatically qualified for nationals.
So nationals, how'd that go?
It was okay. I wish I would have ran better. Hindsight's 2020. You can always look back and think you should have done better. Kind of a slower race and more tactical. But I ended up getting 13th, which was last All-American spot.
Nice.
I outkicked a guy the last 50 meters, and then I sat next to his dad on the flight home.
How'd that come up?
We were just kind of talking, and I saw he had a William and Mary shirt, and then he was asking me, did I race? I was like, yeah, I did the 10K. He goes, oh, how'd you do? I was like, oh, I got 13th. He's like, my son was 14th. It's like, oh, yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry, but I don't really feel bad about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Stewardess.
Yeah.
All right. So what was anything interesting happened after the national meet? That night.
That night, on the cool down?
Yeah, just on the cool down.
All right, so
who did you do your cool down with?
I'm doing my cool down with who was that? Oh, it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're cooling down on this other track, We're just jogging, and then this other guy who was actually the favorite to win the race, but he didn't. We'll just say we're not going to say his name because he's still competing and may have just qualified for the Olympics again.
Should I just say how he did at the qualifications?
No, we'll just leave that open.
If you want to know his name, email me because I will tell you.
Yeah. But we're running on the track, and he's doing some kind of like workout thing, and he gets done with something, and he turns to spit. He may have spit on Brian. He wanted to like stop. He wanted to stop and confront this guy. Like, dude, you're not even supposed to be back here.
I was also, to be fair, too. I had come to do your cool down, and I was wearing like khaki shorts.
Yeah.
I was so. How mad was I?
I mean, mad enough where you still talk about it.
I still bring it up, and that was so amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So after college, we got to wrap this up. We've had you long enough.
Yeah.
After college, what'd you do?
So after college, I had the opportunity to run for another post-collegiate group, Team Indiana Elite down in Bloomington, Indiana. So I did that for, it was like 4 or 5 years. And just did races there on the track and road races, cross-country races and stuff. Tore my Achilles a couple more times, no big deal.
I was about to say, you just hate yourself that much to continue doing that.
Achilles surgeries have you had?
2 Achilles surgeries.
And so did you, have you ever run, like, what's the longest race you've ever done?
I did a marathon once.
How did that go?
I remember marathon's 26 miles, 26.2. I remember about 22 of it. In the first 22, not the last 22.
He passes me at like mile 17. And you're doing really well.
Yeah.
What was your goal?
I was on pace to run about 2:16.
And would that have qualified for the trials?
Yeah.
And what is that per mile?
2:16. I think that's like 5:20
per mile. Okay.
Yeah.
So he passes me a mile 17. I'm like, man, he looks good. He may do this. And I saw him again at like mile 20. And I was like, uh-oh. Just got this glazed look, and then I went to the finish line, and people start rolling in and stuff, and he's not where he was, and I'm like, oh boy. So finally I see him coming around, and he's pale, just looks out of it. He gets done, he crosses the finish line, and he's out of it. I've never seen him this out of it after a race. And they're kind of trying to talk to him and stuff. And one of the guys was standing there who was helping. And I grabbed him. I said, hey, that's my brother. Like, if you want, I will just take him. I'll take care of it so you guys can worry about more important runners. I said, I'll just take him. I can get him. He's like,
yeah, you said, hey, you train medical staff. Don't worry about this. I got him.
So they gave him to me. Anyway, I started talking. He was clearly out of it. And I said, at one point afterwards, when he kindly, how long did it take for you to start like remembering things?
I don't know. I remember I kept trying to talk to this one guy who I thought was this guy that I used to run with back in like high school and college. And I kept saying like, why are you here? Why are you here? And it was not him.
And someone who you ran a lot with and like it was very obvious that he was there to support you. I did look at him and say, once we got back, he had a hotel room. And so once we got back in there and he kind of sat down and I sat down, and I looked at him, I'm like, man, I am glad I finally get to sit down. You do not understand how much I've been running around this city today. And it did not go over very well.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a few more questions. We'll get you out of here. My Chromebook's about to die anyways. So, the most important question, obviously, everyone wants to know: how fast have you ran a mile?
Oh, of course, yeah. 4:07.
That is lame. Was that indoor or outdoor?
That was indoor. I never ran outdoor.
So, what would that like amount to outdoors? Do you think?
That
gives you a couple seconds, right?
Yeah. I also want to point out that I ran like 4:10 in a workout. So.
Doesn't matter. It's not faster than 407.
No.
How many students per year want to race you or say they could beat you in a race?
Probably about five or six.
How many kids who have ever said that could, if you ran a mile, which is 4 laps around the track, would you not lap?
I'd lap all of them. I'd lap all of them.
Is there anyone in the building faster than you?
Oh, jeez, man, that's a tough one. Maybe A House.
We'll have to ask him tomorrow.
Actually, A House was really fast.
Yeah. Didn't your senior year? He was the assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
And he did workouts with you guys, didn't he?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. So, 407 mile, whatever. That's. I mean, I know a lot of people who run faster than that.
That's trash. It's terrible.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple more questions I have, and I can't. What's the thing like? Because now you're just a washed up former has been, and you still try and what do you jog like every once in a while?
How dare you? Yeah, I still run. Probably like, about 6 days a week, 6 or 7 days a week.
How fast could you run a mile right now?
Oh God. I don't know. Maybe 4:30, but I would be sore for like weeks.
So Chaz probably knows who's the guy.
Huh?
Who's the guy from Franklin?
The guy from Franklin. What are you talking about?
The guy who did the Memorial Day Mile.
Oh, Clayton. Brumfield.
Do you know Clayton Brumfield, Chaz?
Oh, me? I don't know. No, I do not. Sorry. I was very confused. I didn't know who you were talking to.
He's beaten Jeff in a race. He beat him last year. So they've kind of had. Have you had a back and forth?
Yeah, I think he's beat me more than I've beat him.
How's that feel?
I got 2 kids weighing me down, man.
It adds a couple seconds. It does.
That's right.
So okay, seriously, what's like the thing that you miss the most about like competitive the racing and everything?
Yeah, just being competitive. Really, just like this is going to sound really weird, but just the obsessiveness of it. I mean, I miss it and I don't at the same time because now I don't really have to weigh like every decision. Then it was, oh, if I do this, is it going to mess up my running? But now I don't have to think about that.
If I do this, is it going to mess up my kids?
Yeah.
What was the best part of just because I joke around a lot, but I'm incredibly proud of you and just seeing the work you put in. And I always just thought it would just be awesome to stand at the line, stand at some place and just look down the line at all your competitors and just be like, yep, I'm going to crush all you today.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the attitude you have to have in like all of the races, even though it doesn't happen all the time. But that's always what I said was I wanted to make sure I was at the starting line, knowing that I did everything I possibly could to beat everybody else in that race. So it's more so about the preparation than actually just getting on the line and having that confidence. Like if you do the preparation, then you just have that confidence.
Were you ever nervous before every race, or was it like just more of an anxiety? Like
more just anxious, more of, you have these races that you kind of prep for. And then when they're finally there, you're like, okay, I don't want to mess this up.
Mm-hmm.
I got to take advantage of this opportunity. So it was more just anxious of like, let's get going. Let's get this race going.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would always feel before games too. That not necessarily nervous. I think it's a mix between excited and nervous, which is probably anxious and just like, I need to get started. We need to get going. Once the game starts, then I feel like I was always more comfortable.
Yep.
So, all All right. Well, we are going to close out here. Chaz, anything you'd like to add? I kind of took control of this one, so I'm sorry.
I know it's all right. I kind of, I guess you kind of know our guest a little bit, so it kind of made sense to just, sit back a second. Jeff, as you can kind of tell, I like movies a lot, kind of.
Looks good.
I think you can learn a lot about a person based on what their favorite movies are.
Oh, man.
So pick 5 favorite movies of yours. Not in any order, but just 5. What would you think?
Oh, man. To have to go with I gotta go with Step Brothers. Has got to be one of the top 5.
Respectable, hilarious.
Yeah. Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Shutter Island. I like Boston movies.
Okay. That movie is very, very trippy.
Yeah, that'll mess you up, man. Gosh, I don't know. Blue Chips. Go, Brian. That's 4. I don't know. I got one more movie.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean,
maybe like or something like that. Something nostalgic.
Mighty Ducks.
No.
Quack.
What? We had a hockey net we would set up, and we would do the triple deke, and we'd always quote that and be like, I missed it. 3
I'm just
more.
not sure why they put like an alcoholic in charge of kids. It doesn't seem very right.
It doesn't
It was
seem.
the 80s. It was a different time.
Yeah.
In the 90s, whenever Mighty Ducks came out. I don't remember.
All right. Well, that is a great line there. Now, you weren't going to say Hoosiers or anything?
I was thinking basketball movies, and I went Blue Chips over Hoosiers.
I can quote that entire last monologue of Coach Pete Bell.
Yeah, I mean, I just want I want to see Shaq dunking on people.
Remember when we watched it and counted the cuss words? I think it was just the F words, actually.
Probably.
I think there's 126 or something. Maybe that was cuss words. We counted either the swear words or just the F words.
Mm-hmm.
That was a simpler time. Maybe I'll do that again here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think you got time.
At the time.
So, all right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking us down and put back in your past and reliving your old glory days, which is all you have to hang on to now.
Right. Yep. You're gonna go look through stuff and cry now.
So, Jeff, you want to hear our lineup for the rest of the week and next week?
I saw you guys got Clayton Cole.
Call, Jeff. Call.
That's how I said it.
So tomorrow we have A House.
Okay.
You know what we need to do, Chaz?
What?
Each person who comes on, you need to ask a question of the next person. So, like Jeff leaves a question for A House.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't have to think of one, just text me if you think of that. But that's what we're going to start doing. So we got A House, and then Monday we have Dr. Clendenning. So A House will leave a question for him. Then Tuesday we have Shelby Beal, the softball coach at Franklin Community High School. Wednesday, I am super excited for this one. You ready for this, Jeff?
Yep.
Brett Bardwell.
Nice. I saw that he posted on your Twitter.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
He is old school. that'll be awesome. Such a great guy. Can't wait.
As you're going to see, Brian is just going to be giddy the entire time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Chad,
I told Brian that I actually know Bardwell. Him and my dad went to Hanover together, and they're really good friends.
Bardwell's a legend. He knows everybody. Then Thursday we have Clayton Call, and potentially on Friday we have Ryan Firebend, the Franklin baseball coach. So I have sent a tweet out to Jeff Mercer, Indiana baseball coach, seeing if he wants to join us, former Franklin High School grad. Jeff, can you pull any strings on that?
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Okay, good. But hopefully he will talk. We don't have any guests over spring break. I don't know what your plans are over spring break, Chaz, but it looks a lot like this for me.
Yeah, same here.
Or less actually work and stuff. So we'll see. But once again, anyone out there in Franklin Athletics or former Franklin athletes, if you want to join us, feel free. Send me an email or tweet and let me know, and we'll get you on here as soon as possible. So once again, Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the stories, and call mom and dad.
All right, I will. I'm going to have to apologize to mom now.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Chaz, any final thoughts?
Stay safe and wash your hands.
There you go. All right. We'll see you later.